Happy time zone, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. Welcome back to ZeldaSpeedRuns. Great to have you with us this Sunday. Today we got a double header of NMG League action for you. On the left of your screen, we have got Spleebie versus StructuralRite, and on the right of your screen, we have got FoxLisk versus Gem. Two excellent matches I'm sure we're all looking forward to. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up and leave things in the hands of your wonderful commentary teams today, Chex Human and Clearmouse.
Oh, thanks, Psychonaut. Chex, good afternoon. How's your Sunday afternoon going?
Hello, Clearmouse. Going well. Looking forward to this pair of 1v1 races. We have Spleebie versus StructuralMike on the left, and FoxLisk versus Gem on the right.
Oh yeah. Four very, very well-known names. Awesome people within the community, and it's actually really cool to be able to kind of feature these four guys. I think all friends all around. Super competitive, super skilled at this game. I think it's going to be a very, as you said, really great set of races to be able to watch.
Definitely.
It's actually I also think for what it's worth, I think it's also pretty cool to actually see such an international set. So Gem and Mike are both in Europe. To give you some context, and then I believe so Fox is definitely on the West Coast. I think Spleebie is somewhere maybe also on the West Coast, but I know he pulls a lot of like late hours, in terms of like streaming times. Like typically you don't see him until probably around like at least like 10 p.m. Eastern time. So I think it's also really cool to be able to see, four guys who are very like diverse, in just terms of geography, in order to get all of them all together. Mountain time. Yeah. Thank you, Sleepy. pretty dang close.
Yeah, different time zones still.
Oh yeah. And usually, I've always actually wondered, so it's like, how do people like in Europe kind of like, I guess, like interact with people like kind of on a more or less regular basis, like during the week, because like there's like an 8 to 9 hour difference, right, kind of depending on where you are. Weekend at 2 p.m. Eastern apparently is the time for everybody to get together and be able to race, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm here for it. In my own time zone.
Yes, that's right. We're here on the East Coast, where of course it is. Well, I guess this is actually, we're racing the randomizer today, so I can actually say that we are in a rando time zone. Typically speaking, for NMG League, it is usually played on the vanilla game, not a randomizer. So being in random time zone probably doesn't as relevant. But actually today, yes, despite this being the randomizer, we actually get the best of both. Yes, best of both many worlds. In that we actually do know in this case where all the items are. It's called vanilla preset. But in this case, we get a lot of quality of life improvements. What that is kind of the built within the randomizer, but also because randomizer's been around for quite a few years now. There's been like basically like a racing council. This kind of guys set a lot of guidelines for what type of glitches, minor glitches, are considered race legal. We'll certainly be able to showcase some of that today.
Yeah, that's right. When Rando first started, it was sort of an extension of A Link to the Past speedrunning, and races followed NMG rules, complete with all the minor glitches that were known, and especially that were exploited in the Japanese 1.0 version. And we'll be seeing that very soon after collecting boots. And then later, let's say 2020, new glitches came out thanks to Yuzuhara. And
I think he's known for a lot of glitches, yes.
That is exactly right. And the randomizer community went its own way. These were close decisions in both communities, but it ended up being different in terms of both rule sets.
Yeah. But today at least the base game or platform in this case, as you mentioned, this is the randomizer, so we are going to be able to be showcasing some. As you mentioned, one of the things that I believe everybody looks forward to, whether it's randomizer or a vanilla game, is you mentioned when we basically go get those pair of boots. Another great thing about actually vanilla preset is part of the randomizer gets to take away a lot of the large talk, and boy, is there a lot of large talk before boots. We get them roughly 1 minute earlier. Typically at the NMG time, it's right around like kind of like the little over the 11-minute mark, depending on kind of what happens. This one we're going to be able to get it right over the the 10-minute mark. 1 whole minute saved. 1 whole minute faster to boots.
Yeah, so so we're coming up on ball and chains now, our first kind of sort of dangerous moment for our runners, and it's looking pretty dangerous too. Spleebie down to 1 heart, but makes it through.
Yeah. We actually already see some boomerang usage action. So for what it's worth, at least at this particular, outside of the initial, I guess you might be noticing lack of dialogue, both from Uncle and from Zelda. The vanilla, at least this part of Escape, isn't too much different. In that, we do get in this case like the boomerang kind of for free, right? So you can be able to use it. You still probably don't want to use it in the absolute optimal case, right? Because every single time you throw the boomerang costs another 17 frames, right? Which you would rather not have. But in this case, it's certainly a very, very, as you mentioned, viable safety, especially in Spleebie's case, where I think it actually did kind of save him from some imminent death. Because also, like, that green guard seemed to be, kind of crowding his space, and we definitely don't want any extra attention.
That's right. And you're talking about what the Rando ROM allows us, and it does cut out a lot of text, like you mentioned. And there is that, and there's quick swap, we'll see later, between our menu items, our Y items.
Yeah,
and,
we actually. Yeah. No, go for it. No, I was gonna say we actually did have a bit of a sneak preview of quick swapping. We do in this case have the lamp, but I did kind of see that. Yep, just like Gem, right? What better great example to be right on cue is that you can always kind of tap L and R, basically kind of be able to take a preview at what's in your inventory. I would also like to point out, by the way, that 3 out of our 4 runners, both Spleebie, Fox, and Gem, took the more, I would say, traditional route. It is not necessarily a random specific route to take the right side coming out of the basement of Escape. However, though, Mike, is a trailblazer. He chose to be Maverick today.
And we are listening to temp.msu, is that the right
yeah,
MSU pack on
Mm-hmm.
Spleebie's side? That's right. So it's original compositions from community member Temp, and yeah, like Malmo is saying in chat, it's Escape length. So this is quite a neat track.
Yeah. One of the as we're kind of also mentioning, unlike Rando, so maybe he's actually just slightly faster in order for a bootsless escape for the vanilla preset. In that we do not have to check the back of Escape. For three checks, we already know what's back there. We do not need those resources. We also have no way of getting those resources because we have no bombs and no boots, and no reason to farm anything within the rats. We also do see that, yeah.
So our runners are out of Escape, walking to Eastern Palace. It appears we have Gem slightly ahead of Fox. I didn't quite see the difference.
Yeah, right now everyone is pretty much. It looks like actually just within like 1 screen apart. But yeah, handful of seconds. Probably some combination basically of some handling like the rope RNG, and then just maybe like slightly longer some more variation on basically the ball and chain guard kill.
Yeah. Erat as well. I didn't.
Oh right, that's right. Yeah, lots of things going on within 4 races. Right. So as you were kind of alluding to earlier, so this is, despite there being 4 racers on the screen, there is actually a distinct 2 sets of 1v1 races going on. As part of the NMG League, we have Fox versus Gem for the Tower of Terror division. So they're actually like racing head to head, and we have Spleebie versus StructuralMike in the Desert Palace division, and they are also head to head. So. How Fox and Gem kind of do, relative to Spleebie and StructuralMike, and vice versa, I think is really, really great, because they actually do have the same seed, which means there are actually a lot of, basically everything's going to be mostly the same, right? Like boss is going to be seeded RNG, and all those things like that, but it's ultimately going to be the result, right, between Fox and Gem, and then Spleebie and Mike.
Yeah, that's right. And the seeding affects, and bosses with RNG. I don't think there's RNG on Armos Knights or even blind. but we'll see it on the rest of the bosses.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So I guess maybe somebody with more knowledge can also confirm this. I have heard stories that I think technically like Armos is seeded, but because it always kind of like moves, in like a very similar fashion. Maybe people just can't tell the difference at all, or everyone just kind of knows the quick kill, right? So you actually can't like visibly really tell the difference.
Mm-hmm. From now on, I'm going to whisper whenever I say something I'm not sure about, so you'll know whether to take it seriously.
You can, well, you can always, maybe you can put little like hashtags around it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, alright, so actually we're kind of making our way through Eastern Palace. So it's just like kind of the vanilla race, or the vanilla game speedrun, we are also looking for a little bit of, just a little bit of extra cash to kind of like get us through, the hump, right? Spleebie already in the lead, absolutely rolling in money, because he got a nice 20 drop. Jem, getting 5 rupees. He also did not actually quite hit the switch, unfortunately, so we actually do see him having to basically farm up an extra heart so he doesn't, die on his attempt to get to hit the switch quickly. Yeah, but kind of just like with that, does actually put Fox slightly in the lead in this particular case, as we're kind of all making our way. Man, this is actually really cool to see basically such syncing, right, between 4 runners here.
Yeah. And we have Fox and Gem both at 2 hearts. The back of Eastern can be fairly dangerous, so it's not all done, set and done yet.
True, very true. And actually, Mike, also, with that extra half heart, he can actually take 1 additional hit versus Spleebie, of course, and also versus Fox and Gem here on the Igors. You never know, actually, when that extra hit's basically going to, kind of save you from imminent death. Whew. Oh yeah.
Fox takes a little hit, but that's fine.
Yep, that's all good. We did end up getting, most people, I think everybody ended up getting the arrow, 1 arrow drop at least, so at least not too much extra pressure. Ooh, looks like Jem's actually going to go for a slightly different, I think this is a faster variation of
the pinkest variation.
Mm-hmm.
Both Fox and Gem.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's pretty cool to see both Fox and Gem go for the pinkest strat, which is known to get consistent times with a low 13-second room time.
Mm-hmm. I do think Spleebie wins the best in show though, because he had a boomerang at the very end.
Yes.
And it's almost like a pageant, move, right? It's like the waving with the royal boomerang. All right, but here we are at right around just a little over 10 minutes, slightly 1 minute under the normal expected NMG time. Everybody here is getting boots. Mike actually, right, so that Mike has kind of already been trailblazing through Escape, right? Doing the right side, so unexpected. I believe actually he actually does a slightly different maybe set of variation in terms of resources. And I believe in week 1, he also got the blue mail out of Ice Palace too. So actually it's going to become pretty interesting to basically see, what he decides to, end up doing in terms of routes as part of the randomizer, just because we have a lot of the things kind of like opened up in that we can do quick swapping. It can actually save a lot of time in terms of menuing. Opens up a lot of different options for viable safeties, which, for example, the blue mail, right? Armor is an extremely powerful safety that you can have, because everything basically does double damage to you after that. And so normally in the normal vanilla speedrun, you don't have kind of the option of getting it, because it just takes so long to get to the right side of Ice Palace. But with basically Icebreaker and Rando allowed, it's actually pretty tenable.
Alright, so our runners have collected their Book of Medora, putting spin speed to use, especially coming out of the library.
Yeah, I am going to be pretty curious to see, in this case, how many of these runners decide to go for the, it's not quite the unholy spin speed, because we already said that coming out of library, but it's going to be that spin speed cutting out of desert. As you did mention, spin speed, well, that spin feed sometimes people like to go for when they have the luxury of having a pause buffer. If you can certainly still have the pause buffer in Brando, there is absolutely nobody's can tell you cannot pause or menu or anything like that. It's that you would just, like to save that extra second or something if you don't have the menu. But it's so right. If you spin speed without the menu, you have to be really, really confident in your movements.
Okay. So
Oh,
we
no.
saw a little bit of extra cutscenes from Fox. I was
Okay.
wondering what the "oh no" in chat referred to, and of course, he read the tablet 2 times. It looked like
Fox just has 2 wishes, okay? He wants a good light world and a good dark world. So you gotta get, you have to get one for both, alright?
I thought that the statues would rotate around 2 more times, but that's not what occurred, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, that is also true. I actually did think that it was going to loop, but maybe the game was actually, kind enough to not basically force you to go through all that. Oh, amazing. Oh, that's actually a really interesting tidbit. Mallow saying that Spleebie, and Spleebie confirming that his one of his previous PBs also had multiple tablet reads or whatever.
Yeah. We were able to see that in the Spleebception.
Oh,
VODs,
nice.
Which was a fun aspect of PB attempts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, these guys are actually just really fun in general to be able to watch. Yeah, especially I believe also I think Matt also does a Mattception, within his stream. I think he has 5 or 6 now at this point. PB videos every single new PB VOD, right, just has the collection of the previous sets of PBs, right? So it's just really cool to see.
We had Fox pick up a rupee pot to get up to 6.
Yeah, he was definitely a bit more. He was a bit more lacking in terms of funding, in terms compared to everyone else.
Yeah, Gem was able to secure an 11 rupee donation before Desert, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't see where he picked him up.
I think he did get. He got 5 rupees from the Popo. At least coming out of Eastern Palace, right before the Penelope key chest. Oh, dashing. Well, we don't need any more money on his side. And yeah, of course, Spleebie was probably also pretty fortunate in order to get some more rupees. Mike, on the other hand, he is, obviously by far the wealthiest out of the 4, but he decided to kind of get his money up front, basically by talking to, or at least taking it from the back of Sahasrahla, which is certainly very viable. So he, at least until basically Castle Tower, he is going to look slightly behind, just because he spent that extra time. But, kind of as Spleebie and Fox and Gem, for that matter, are going to go get their money, he's going to basically take that time back.
All right, we have Gem first into the landmine fight. Wow, look at these 2 short hops, 3 short hops, all away from Link.
Yeah, these are okay. Yeah, so this is gonna be probably the first real showcase where technically the landmost fight is seated, and so if any of them is actually watching either the restream or other people's stream, and you are not the first person into a boss fight, you can kind of get a sneak preview as to what the pattern potentially would look like. Maybe in order to try to get yourself, to try and not be as reactive, just try and go for something more planned. This one, well, they may not be wanting to replay the scene. I'm just saying so far, at least from the initial set of patterns.
Yeah, all 4 runners seem to do pretty well. I didn't take a close look at Spleebie or Mike, but they are not far behind. Behind as in just comparing the 2 races.
Oh, yeah.
And it looked like Fox was able to close the gap a little bit with a little bit better fight. And no slouch, that looked like 4 cycles for Gem on a hard fight.
Especially as you mentioned, right? So the first cycle, I believe, was going to be pretty much the same for everybody, and that kind of looked bad. Right. Speaking of maybe making up a little bit more time, the Fox has an opportunity to, first try a fake flipper, getting into the portal versus Gem looks like second try at that Zora. It just anxiety rising every single time whenever that big whirlpool comes up. But luckily, in this case, Fox, was not fooled. We can just basically get in. Yeah, but also, I mean, just really, really close. As in, I think coming out of Escape, pretty much everybody was in within basically one overworld screen, with each other. And here we are, everyone basically just rescuing the old man in various stages. I mean, super, super close race. Maybe, as you mentioned, partially also because I think it seemed like everyone had the starting at like the same pretty difficult landmass fight, but it was definitely able to react and clean up accordingly. Death Mountain, never a fun place for anybody. Mike is getting bullied by dead rocks and boulders.
All right, we have StructuralMike using his bombs and gets a nice little bomb climb.
Yeah, something that's
surviving
definitely
Death Mountain so far.
Yeah, and that bomb climb, not as evident by the 0 bomb counter for everybody else except Mike, is just not a viable option. Basically, especially in the vanilla speedrun, unless in this case you decide to get Saha rupees. And of course the 3 bombs in the back. Jem looks like he actually tried to do a boom dash in order to try and hit the switch quickly. Not quite, but another great use basically for being able to have the boomerang. Mike is also getting kind of bullied actually here within Hera. While health is probably not as great of a resource, it is you don't have that much buffer. In just in Light World in general, just because you just have so little initially to work with. I do enjoy
spin speed.
Yeah. Not often, actually, you get to see something like this in randomizer. Just because you see a lot more of this in the vanilla game. When we're kind of sitting through Hera Basement, but seems like at least with the option of quick swapping, some people decided I think they can use like the arrow, basically hit the switch early and quick swap, and back to the boomerang, the lamp, or the whatever. But looks like Spleebie just kind of went to more traditional showcase basically of Hera Basement.
With Mike at 2 hearts, I wonder if he'll hit the crystal switch for safety.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah. Oh, look at that! Look at this nice arrows that were able to that Jem was able to get right before getting sucked through the door. So he should be pretty comfortable, and so we are actually kind of passing over the switch, both on Jem and Fox's side, pretty healthy. Only missing 1 heart and 1.5 hearts. I'm gonna certainly spend another one here, but Moldorm, you're probably gonna be pretty comfortable going in with at least 2. So
nice bomb jumps for both. Using spin setups, Spleebie uses a spin setup as well. Yeah, and
this room, I think might be experiencing a little bit. Okay, he did make it, which is good. Yeah, but this is one of the screens where I think is maybe one of the side of the randomizer that you may not want to showcase. In that, the more sprites on that screen, the laggier it becomes. It could actually kind of like mess up your timing or your expectations for that bomb jump.
Okay, very, very close fights for our runners Jem and Fox. Looks like Jem maybe out a little faster. Spleebie also takes down Moldorm.
Oh my god, Mike! Oh, phew! Okay, the enraged face nobody likes, and unfortunately, with the vanilla layout of the items, Moldorm does not get any easier. Quick swapping between boomerang and arrow and lamp does not help you whatsoever, unfortunately. So we're just gonna have to use the boots and sword the old-fashioned way.
Pretty cruel of the developers to make it require 6 hits.
Yeah. True, yeah. All right, okay, so we're actually kind of seeing this case, at least for Fox and Jem, we are actually starting their funding collection in terms of trying to get into the first dungeon of Dark World, and this and Spleebie as well. And of course, as Mike basically exits out of Deathbound Descent Cave, this is kind of going to be where he's going to kind of make up some of that time back because he already got basically his requisite 100 and, well, in this case 120 rupees.
Yeah, for 3 of our runners, it's important not to touch any enemies, including the guard that Spleebie just spawned.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to stay undamaged to generate that 80 rupee tree. Mike is okay not worrying about tree rupees.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he of course has the extra bombs as well, as we kind of saw him earlier, being able to just basically spend a little bit less time on the ladder climb, right? Basically going up the mountain because you can bomb climb, which whereas Spleebie, Fox, and Gem did not have that option. All right, so I think we are. So Ari has pointed out also, Gem is also maybe not as rich as he might like to be. He wouldn't have to go basically scrounge up a little bit of extra cash. The good news is that the ball and chain guard in the very second room of Castle Tower does have an extra hope that he can basically drop because they are the rupee prize pack. However, this kind of requires them to also drop something, so we're gonna have to see.
And I love seeing the boomerang strats on the last tree pull.
Oh yeah, that's also something that again, like when you have the option to quick swap, suddenly you actually have a lot more, I guess, like rando specific, strats that you can do. Yep, thank you, ball and chain guards. Those were super helpful drops. At least, yeah, but like part of also of course the good news, for being the randomizer and being only 2 rupees away for Gem, right? Worst case, maybe he can stun a couple enemies, right, and then just collect the stun prize, which is this piece of single rupee. Not going to be the worst case in order to go get funding for, but it's at least doable.
Fox putting his boomerang to use in the dark maze.
Mm-hmm.
Still takes a little damage, but that's all right. Usually our runners want beams. Nice chest turn for Spleebie.
Nice. The best chest turn. All right. Speaking of more rando specific strats, Gem, you actually see that Gem quick swap over to the boomerang, and it is actually possible to kill both bats with a single boomerang hit. Actually, a little bit faster than the original. I guess like just use only sword usage basically for NMG.
Yeah.
And for the record, like even if you just take all the exact same strats that you did for regular vanilla NMG and run with the randomizer, also perfectly viable. It's just that I think it's also just really cool to be able to see, basically people kind of develop, right? Faster improvements to kind of like existing room strats, just because you have the option of quick swapping available. Whereas in regular, in the vanilla game, you did not have that option. So kind of like menuing to, another item and then menuing back is just going to be prohibitively slow.
That last guard before the staircase, before Aghanim, is so annoying. It tagged Mike right at the end.
Oh, yeah. It's actually kind of scary because I don't, especially if you are just kind of being able to dash, it kind of depending on where that guard's sword is, or basically, where his movement is. I'm always just so paranoid that you're gonna clink off the sword and then like fall off the pit or something, right? So then it's a significantly higher cost, right? And especially if you're on low health, that's not a place that you want to suddenly be told that you're going to restart the tower climb. Oops.
We got an oops from Spleebie.
I
Looking
know.
forward to seeing what that is.
I have heard of the mythical 1 blue ball from certain runners in the vanilla preset, which for the record is supposed to be coded to give you 0 blue balls, but I believe maybe it seems like the implementation might only be you get no blue balls guaranteed for the first 5 blue balls or something. We will see.
Yeah, we had a bit of an electrical shock. Coming too close to Aghanim.
Okay.
And Mike is out. So, how about that?
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? So another really great thing about the randomizer, you know, again, it cuts down. Okay, right. Sorry, some more context. If you kind of place a pretty, you know, comparable run, I guess, between like the vanilla preset randomizer and the middle NMG game, it's roughly about 10 minutes. At least was kind of what it seemed, you know, for people to do. So that being said, right, the randomizer kind of cuts out basically, you know, 10-ish minutes worth of dialogue. On the one hand, I think it's really great because, you know, you don't have to, after every crystal cutscene, especially after Aghanim's defeat, you don't have to sit there for 40 seconds, you know, mashing text, basically, you know, waiting for Sahasra to tell you everything you already know about where you're going to go next. On the other hand, especially maybe if you had a, you know, a rougher fight, rougher tower, you know, it doesn't hurt to have a couple seconds of a little breather. That is not something you end up kind of getting, you know, within the vanilla run or for the randomizer because it's just nonstop action basically.
We had a bit of a hectic overworld for Gem having to collect extra rupees, but he kept it together. He ended up in the dungeon just ahead of Fox. Such a close
he made
race.
it. Yeah, he made it in the dungeon. You know, I actually didn't think about the fact that when you are actually kind of farming out the rupees, it maybe depends on when you end up, you know, trying to do that. But you know, we kind of saw Gem also farm rupees while he had Kiki. Even more dangerous because if he got hit, right, Kiki would run away, and then he would be in actually pretty dire straits because you have to get 10 more rupees in order to get Kiki to follow you again, and then you know, 2 rupees is kind of one thing. 12 rupees is kind of something pretty. You know, that's a panic moment.
And a special shout out to Spleebie's strat of getting the Bari out of the way with a slash to the right and not quick hopping, which it allows him to bait a fireball.
Nice. All right, so we are seeing, as you mentioned, everybody here is in pods, super close, basically within, you know, a couple screens actually with each other. We are showcasing the more or less traditional vanilla route within pod. This is something that you would pretty much expect everybody to be following. There are probably some exceptions where if you are probably exceptionally confident in your ability to use the boost to their fullest extent, we may not actually have seen, you know, we could see basically like a different route slightly. But at least today, we're going to stick more with the traditional aspects of the speedrun.
Fox had some trouble with hammer jump, needed a second try. It was easy second try. Spleebie had to take his time for whatever reason. It's just hard to get that pixel lineup, but
yeah,
is still doing fine.
And this is kind of one of those situations where, you know, especially I think when Quickstop first came out, people were really trying to get like their 0:0:0, you know, menu time type of, you know, thing within the randomizer because, you know, all Quickstop is awesome, which it is. Yeah, still, that's definitely still on the record. If you can save the menu screens, that's fine, but especially for something like Hammer Yell, more often than not, you're definitely still going to see runners trying to use their menu buffers to, you know, as you said, line up with the pixels because it is very difficult to just kind of like walk on them, basically.
And we have Fox in a very dangerous situation, going to Helma with 4 hearts, and he chose not to get the hearts before. Oh, Spleebie needs arrows to move on.
Yeah, very good, timely call. Also had to use basically an arrow to hit the switch because, you know, we actually don't have any sword beams on his side. I think, who was it? Who was it yesterday?
Oh, nice key dash for Gem.
Oh, yeah, super nice to be able to get on the pixel. And again, so Gem being the first one into Helmasaur, which means that if anybody else is watching, they can get a sneak preview as to what Helmasaur is doing. We already see some fireball. Oh my gosh! On Gem's side, so they know it's coming. Fox, please do not do that because Gem just took 2 hits, which is 4 hearts worth of damage. Fox does not have that health to spare. But luckily, Gem, you know what? I won't say he got away unfazed because he was kind of pretty phased, but he got through it, and we are going to be on to the next side of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh, phew.
I've been phased twice already.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chex. It is not the best of experiences. Okay, Fox gets through his fight. We're actually going to see Mike also kind of getting through Helmasaur. I don't think he took any damage yet. Spin speed is quite the godsend, for this particular boss. So yeah, and I mean, you can't. Spleebie, please do not. Everything's fine.
Yes,
everything's fine.
Very, very much fine.
Okay, nobody was worried. Spleebie, you have made it out alive. We never have to speak or look at Pod ever again. Yeah, this is definitely not a seed that you want to, I guess, try and use for a PP attempt. You obviously cannot control, what Helmasaur ends up doing, especially when you first randomly generate the seed. But if you know that this seed has Helmasaur basically firing, fireballs at you, it is a significant amount of time, basically wasted that you can't actually control. So, not to mention, I think Lamos pattern is also kind of mean. So, no reason to try and use this one.
We had a spinning boomerang at the end of the fight for Spleebie, so I guess nice. Spleebie wins the boss fight again.
I know, yeah.
Another point for Spleebie.
I do believe that Spleebie is he can actually maybe be considered an honorary member of the Boomerangers. Like using this boomerang. He still has it out in his white item. Definitely the most usage here.
Oh, I missed the quick warp on Gem's side. There is a not. Okay, so there's the Grove screen, and it's tricky to get the quick warp because Link has to walk just into place. Fox missed it. It's a little tricky to get without a menu buffer to check your position.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. The upside of the randomizer is that you don't have to menu to waste time. The downside of the randomizer is that you would really like some of those menus to help you basically see and maybe also have a save time a little bit later.
Right, and yeah, I didn't see it on Spleebie's side either. So, yeah. Continuing on to Thieves Town, our runner is getting the all-important library spin speed to get past Usain Bolt, the fastest guard in Hyrule Vanilla preset.
That's right. His reputation precedes him so much that he's also the fastest runner, in the vanilla NMG game as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Mike, unfortunately, just getting a little bit body here. He does manage to escape the rest of the blue guards, though. Yeah. All right, so this is gonna be, as you mentioned, we're in Thieves Town. This is gonna be the last dungeon that we're gonna do on Master Sword. I mean, unless somebody, I think, really surprises us and does a completely different route, basically to go get a different sword than basically like a later game sword. I am fully expecting that all of these guys are going to get Tempered Sword after getting our Titansmiths out of this dungeon.
This is Fox's moment.
I'm ready. All right, Fox. I cannot wait. It would actually be really cool to see him just basically like busting out the, so instead of getting the Tempered Sword at the Smith coming up, he's basically just going to go for the rest of the game on Master Sword until we get to Pyramid Fairy, and then we're going to basically get, Gold Sword and Silvers out of that.
That is a theoretical route that Fox attempted but did not find to be faster or race viable. So we shall see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we are actually going to see in this case various stages of Thieves Town. Again, it's actually a very close set of races. This is another one of those. Oh my gosh, Mike, he's absolutely getting bullied. Another one of the dungeons that maybe is kind of more noticeable in terms of lag for the randomizer, especially in the front four of Thieves Town after you get the middle of Big Key and trying to get to the back with the Big Key door. Oh. Yeah, sometimes the game really wants you to stay within Thieves Town, just basically in order to spend some extra time in there. Sometimes it is a little bit more noticeable as well on the hallway. Just kind of depends on how many sprites are active. It's not also one of those locations where you would kind of like to have them. I mean, you never want to have lag to begin with, but especially when you're trying to get on the God Pixel dash, enemy RNG is pretty heavily dependent on and it can affect your performance in that room. It is not something that you kind of also want to deal with.
That was lucky enough to get a synchronizing screen for Hellway for Spleebie. Seeing him nudge the door on the way out, which was the longest nudge of my life.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. It kept the dash though, so that was pretty nice.
All right, we have also come up to the second text box of the entirety of the game, which is on blind. We actually going to get 4 of the exact same jokes because, again, this is the same seed. So, as you did mention, blind's movements are also going to be the same. They, it's very similar behavior, to the vanilla game as well. Probably less noticeable from a randomizer because everybody just kills blind the same way.
Solid fight for Gem. Oh man, we've had a couple of our runners take a tumble on the conveyor screen, which is, in my opinion, the hardest screen.
It is like you have so many. I mean, we got a sneak preview, of the Bari's behavior. Spleebie really, try to get ahead of it, in pod just because trying to, kill it, a priori before you even have a chance to even do anything bad. But Thieves Town, that conveyor belt is kind of like we have to go basically on their turf. It's much more difficult to manage.
All right, nice fight for Mike. Spleebie also in the fight.
Yeah, and so kind of as we're also going through the randomizer itself, we also might, or at least this particular run, and of course I think the heightened experience, right? Because we have 4 runners, is that we actually get to showcase in this case 4 different Link sprites that the randomizer allows you to customize, and 4 different MSUs, or in this case, basically like soundtracks. So. I don't actually know how many MSU packs there are, but you can actually, there are a lot of, like artists and like content music creators basically that have swapped out the original soundtrack of the game and we kind of replaced them with, different themed tracks, right? From, it can be from other video games, it can be from other just like sources. I mean, whatever you end up, listing, it can be, original composition, for all we can. And but basically you can play with that music. Right, so we have basically like very customizable themes, within Link to the Past, and of course we also do get to showcase 4 of 491 total sprites, available. Gem is, and it's actually kind of funny because I think a lot of these, people are certainly very, like rando. Fixtures, right? Run a lot of randomizer, and sometimes you can kind of see like, oh, it's Pink Link, oh, so it's Gem, right? Or it's like, oh, they're only, like it's Dark Link, okay, so Ari runs Dark Link, right? Matt runs Dark Link, kind of like people get to kind of like show, oh, okay, Mike is very, commonly like a Mario sprite, that type of thing. Really, really actually be a little fun to be able to see all this customizable stuff.
And Fox is I don't know what, and I don't know
why.
It's
some sort of yeah, and I think Spleebie is Minish Cap Link, right?
Yes, a Spleebie standard.
Yeah, I mean, like all of these, music artists, sprite artists, is like their talent is amazing because actually to make a sprite is actually, and also to pick the tracks, right, to actually make it sound seamless and to sound appropriate for the game is something that's actually very difficult and actually can be quite tedious. So really, huge thanks to basically everyone who has made the game experience better for this.
I make fun, but I do like the concept of the static link.
Yeah, one thing maybe, so it's not quite as evident, at least with this, this set of 4 sprites, maybe the most quote-unquote, relatively speaking, is the Mario sprite, but all of these sprites are relatively the same, height as Link, right? Especially if you're like Pink Link or even like a static Link for that matter. Pretty, so then all like your bomb jumps, your visual cues can probably stay the same. There are other differently shaped sprites. For example, you can play as the chicken. You can play,
Mhm.
you know, as you can play as the bird, you know, as the flute duck, right? And those sprites are, well, they're a little bit more, you know, vertically challenged. And so if
Yeah.
you are, you know, dependent on like Link's ears, for example, right, you probably should learn a new setup for that
Yeah.
sprite.
There's okay. I didn't see Spleebie
Yes,
hit a Ropo
as
with
nothing.
an arrow, but oh, nice fight for
Oh,
Gem.
yeah, that's a very well recovered fight. I mean, so only 3 spikes move, which is really good. That's kind of like the general basis of, you know, how good a Mothula fight is, but still very, very solid on Gem's part.
Such a close race still between
It
Mike and
is, it
Spleebie.
is, yeah. I mean, I think it's actually so right. I think, oh man, okay. I think I saw this. So qualifier times, I think Gem also, I believe his time, at least out of the 4, was the lowest, going in with a like 1:14.41. Mike also had it's basically a 3-minute difference, 1:17.14. But also just, I mean, it's also random. It's also a speed run. Things can happen. But yeah, I would certainly expect basically a pretty close set of races, you know, for these 4 guys.
And Fox had a 10 out of 10 fight, catching up a little bit on Gem.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was surprised he was able to, you know, outrun the conveyor and get a nice poke dash to clean it up. That was well done.
Yeah.
Nice fight for Spleebie. Oh no,
Oh,
Mike
no,
unfortunately takes a death.
Oh yeah, Moth is really people. Okay, so what I remember Relkin saying in a previous commentary is that, you know, we're talking about seeded bosses. So Mothula's the actual movement of Mothula is seeded, as in Mothula will behave the same. The conveyor belt, on the other hand, that's not the same. So you have to have some combination in this case of both of them to kind of get, you know, something more stable. So it's not always going to be, you know, like the most predictable of fights. But yeah. Oh no, Mike is also kind of not having the greatest time here in the mummy room. Oh, thank you. At least you killed a hand.
Yeah, recovering is so sketchy, depending on your strats.
Yeah,
It's
I do
just
actually,
not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, I do like the fact that, again, we can use quick swap. Mike, I think, was trying to duplicate, you know, a heart basically from the pot. Sometimes it does work, give you extra, you know, extra hit that you could take. Oh my gosh, though, really, really nice second fight there on Mike's side.
Okay, I want to mention very nice Mire 2, a fast Mire 2 for Gem. That's a hard strat. And we see Fox and Gem both going into Mire. We see Spleebie water walking. He's already got his ice rod. Nice fast Mire 2 for Fox as well.
Yeah, and actually looks like, so we're gonna get our flippers right now, which is,
Yeah.
you know, again, right. So okay, so pretty much up till this point, after Skullwoods, the route right between like the randomizer and the original speed run, pretty much the same, right? There's not gonna be too much variation. A lot of it is just gonna come from, you know, like, you know, basically the ability to quick swap, right, execution, stuff like that. Once in this case, we have the ability to basically after Tempered Sword, and we have the ability to go to Mire. We do have the opportunity to get the Canis Mario early, which in the randomizer, well, you may actually, you know a bit more, you know, about basically using the Canis Mario to break the game checks. but this is something that yes, even within a minor glitch, the technique called Icebreaker, Diver Down especially, saves a lot of time within randomizer, and it's totally legal. And so this is kind of the reason why you see, you know, in this case, divergence basically in terms of routing. Fox and Gem have chosen to basically get the Canis Mario as soon as possible, even actually at the cost of coming into Mire basically down 2 hearts. You know, where in this case you would really want health as your primary resource. Oh wow, that fire snake! Oh, really had it out for Gem.
I was watching Mike, who has had a difficult overworld. It looked like he may have wanted a bomb climb for Death Mountain to get Ether, but chose to save his resources, perhaps, or health, just in case.
Yeah, this is what it's certainly looking like. Yeah, and again, so Fox and Gem, you know, as basically taking the same route. I'm fully expecting them to do Ice Palace after this. On the other hand, Spleebie versus Mike, though, completely different routes.
Yeah.
Spleebie is actually even doing Swamp Palace, which is also, by the way, totally fine. And Spleebie got he fluted to Ice Rock Cave, water walked to Zora, got his flippers, and of course we obviously have access to Swamp Palace, right? Having the hook shot is something also extremely viable, right? Can save you some time in Mire, can save you some time in Ice Palace. You can also now hook climb, the stairs in Death Mountain instead of spin speed. I mean, lots of still benefits, basically.
Alright, nice spooky action for Gem. Okay,
oh no!
Go Fox.
Oh no! No!
No, he didn't do it. So what we were seeing on Fox's screen is a punt of the block. He could have re-dashed to make it through the door before the shutter closed, but either didn't react in time or just didn't do it. So just threw the block back, which was a decent backup.
I think that's very fair. Yeah. All right. So very textbook fight there on Jump side. Very well done. Even has 4 arrows to spare. As we're kind of watching Fox basically come up to his victorious fight, he has exactly 8 arrows, which is exactly however many you need. That's it.
All right. Okay. We've got a fight for
okay,
Fox.
we're just gonna slash the eye a couple more times. That's okay. I think maybe having exactly 8 arrows means you cannot, or it would be the best to not use any arrows during phase 1. But I mean, there's just a little bit of cleanup, and only short 1 arrow basically is very minimal time loss basically on Fox's side. Nice clink on Jump side, always the best one. That's why you get the fighter shield. I mean, you have to get the fighter shield in this game because you can't get rid of it. But that is one of the best applications. Alright, so Gem, did get also a little bit bullied by the guards. Probably not going to be still like the worst case going into Ice Palace on low health. It just means that we can't use beams for the second room, I guess, in Ice Palace. But thanks to Quick Swap and a couple arrows, a couple boomerangs, I think Gem should be fine in order to get that small key.
Okay, we're gonna leave that bomb there for another hero.
Surely another one will come around to try and save Princess Zelda and collect the Triforce pieces and, etc.
Okay. All right, wait, and Spleebie leaves a bomb on the big chest platform. I suppose that was a quick swap error.
Oh, okay. Sometimes, actually, I think it's actually funny with quick swap stuff because, so especially for the example of when you're trying to first get the flute out, that combination of warping to the light world, switching to the shovel, quick swapping to the shovel, digging up your flute, switching to the flute, right? All that. It's a very tight set of input combinations in a very short amount of time. And sometimes when you're trying to quick swap, like there's like the old the original NMG memes of like, oh, third try dig, second try dig, stuff like that. Sometimes you sprinkle in a hammer dash, a hammer in there as well, just because you're trying to fumble upon all of the different items that you have available at your disposal at this point. And errant, hook shot, errant bomb before hook shot. Very, very common things to see.
Yeah, you have to hammer the ground first to make sure there's a flute under there.
It's like a stud finder, you got to make sure that you don't dig, when, there's like metal or like wood underneath. You got to only dig when there's soil.
All right, so Argus fight for Spleebie. And goes for a 0, doesn't get it, but gets a 1 cycle.
Yeah, Spleebie on also 4 hearts. While Swamp is not the most dangerous dungeon, if you try and go for a 0 cycle Argus, and I'm always really, really worried when people go in with only 4 hearts because it can certainly, if you just get 1-2 comboed in the during the puff animation, if the 0 cycle goes wrong, it can basically just death trap you, and nobody wants to see that. So
Okay, icebreaker for Gem, very nice.
Mhm.
Going for the big key route. Oh no, Fox walks into a crab.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened there.
I think I also don't know what happened. Maybe he was trying to walk around the crab, but he ended up getting hit, unfortunately. So
Yeah. So we want beams for ice, but we'll figure it out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean we've got quick swap. Fox unfortunately does not have any arrows. But it's fine. We can always quick swap over to to the boomerang in order to save a little bit of time as well.
Good spin clip for Gem.
Yeah.
Right side stairs.
Yeah, we already kind of see this case. Both Gem and Fox, with the Cane of Samaria. I assume also Fox is not gonna hit the switch. We're just gonna run. Yeah, well, right. We're gonna hit the switch here, because we have to. It's the floor switch, not the light orange blue switch. As we kind of also saw Gem do, and Fox right here picking up the big key. We can actually just go down the door, and the stairs instead of basically going the way around.
And good diver downs. I didn't really mention. Mike's was solid, and Mike also had a bit of an incident on the big chest platform. Shooting an arrow into a pot. Points deducted for both Mike and Spleebie.
Yeah.
Nice cold stair fight for Gem. He went for a double poke dash and didn't quite get it, but was able to contain the puffs. And
one of course, just like any other speed run, the most expensive thing you could do is die on anywhere, and yes, so you're probably willing to spend the extra 3 to 5 seconds basically cleaning up your cold stair fight versus the 2 to 3 minutes basically going back to cold stair. For what it's worth, at least when we have Cane of Samaria, it's not as expensive as it would be in the vanilla speedrun because you can also just take the shortcut, on right side Ice Palace, but still, it's not a great feeling.
Cold stair fight for Fox, also going for the double.
Yeah, that was really
solid.
Very nice fight.
And Mike takes care of Argus.
Yeah, so we are actually now kind of at the point where, right, so Fox and Gem are now switching places with Mike and Spleebie. Both Mike and Spleebie decided to at least do Ice Palace as their first set of dungeons, and then, and move on to, in this case, Mire, and then ultimately Cold Stair. Ice Palace and then Cold Stair. The important part is that we absolutely want the Cane of Samaria for Ice Palace. Whether or not you do Swamp Palace, before... Basically, any of these sequences is kind of up to your probably personal level of risk tolerance. Yeah, so of course one of the benefits of coming to Mire basically after Swamp is again, Fox and Gem went to Mire first. They were down 2 hearts, basically because they want the Cane of Samaria, presumably in this case for Swamp Palace, so they can also use it for Diver Down. But again, you are now at a health deficit especially when you compare it to like the original run. Mike and Spleebie looks like they kind of still want that health because again, health is probably your most premium resource in this dungeon.
Nice anti-fairy skip for Fox.
Yeah, all these little things. I mean, Fox is a 123 runner but in regular vanilla NMG, so I certainly would expect him to be able to kind of have a very solid mastery of different NMG techniques here in terms of execution.
So Spleebie and Mike have met in the same dungeon.
Thanks, thanks, Fox. It's okay. What's a minute or two between friends?
Yeah, or a few seconds.
Yeah.
So we have Spleebie heading up to Vitreous soon. Spooky 1 is done. Spooky 2, no problem.
Yeah, and and this is kind of just speculation on my part. So certainly, the more healthy you come into Mire, especially, the kind of like less likely it is that you'll probably kind of deviate, from your original kind of like execution, path or plan, right? If you are basically still at full health, you can still do Mire too quickly, along with kind of like the rest of the rooms, right? Or like mostly. It's kind of at a point where if you are under less health, you kind of try and, maybe start farming enemies for safeties. And one of the things that can actually break Spooky in Mire, especially if you're just kind of not necessarily, being the most aware of your movements, is basically that boomerang. We actually did see Mike trying to use the boomerang to duplicate a heart, especially if you're low health. It's a very viable strategy. You just unfortunately can't keep Spooky if you do that in this dungeon, so you probably don't want to do that. But it has happened before. Oh, Mike also, by the way, demonstrating that another good reason to come in here with the hook shot, like to do Mire after Swamp, is you can use the hook shot to hook over, right? You don't have to like run around in order to go get the bridge before the big chest, which is not only time save, is also just safer, right? One hook shot over versus running all the way around the bridge. You gotta adjust yourself over and over. Like it's just much nicer.
Yeah, definitely saves a risk of bonking. Okay, so Mike goes below the pot switch to use the Samaria, and looks good so far. Let's see if he gets Spooky 1. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, it looks real great. Yeah, and kind of also, again, so this didn't really actually have Death Mountain, I guess, was quite kind in this case for both Fox and Gem. But one of the dangers, right, of especially going to do Mire first is you don't really have a different opportunity to go get Ether. Like you have to go get Ether. There's requisite entry for Medallion for Mire, obviously before you go in, and the only time to do that if you're gonna do the dungeon first is right before Mire, and. Well, if you get especially pummeled with a lot of boulders, or you get unlucky with RNG, the Mire becomes an even worse dungeon to go through. Did we get it? Nice job, Gem. We're gonna get the 0 cycle.
All right, and a solid Vitreous fight for Mike. Nice use of Boomerang and Ice 2 for Spleebie. That looked like the solid strat.
Yeah, and of course, right, so Spleebie and Mike, of course, gonna have the luxury of basically using hookshot, right? We also, so we actually even saw, like, for example, Spleebie just even hooking to that middle, to the middle block and back, right? These are things that Fox and Gem were not able to do without the hookshot. That big magic is so tempting.
Hey, let's see. This Ice Rod Overworld for Gem has some aggressive crabs, but not a problem.
Yeah.
All right, let's see a 0 cycle attempt for Fox. Solidly storing all the puffs.
Yeah, really well done. Oh my, everything's fine. It's okay. We got phase 1. That's all that matters. That was the hard stuff. Yeah, actually, according to, looks like actually Gem's personal splits, he actually did gold Swamp Palace, which is, quite impressive, actually. So definitely kudos to that. Must have had actually really good dungeon.
Nice Waffle House drive-through for Gem. He does need to hold for a little bit of a traffic jam, but that was good otherwise.
We were even talking about waffles yesterday. I never even asked him like what he actually likes on his waffles. We were only we're only kind of like guessing what Ari and Matt liked. Okay, well, I think we maybe have also spoken too soon about these bedrocks, because they all just suck, or Fox paid them off handsomely. What kind of waffles do you think Deadrocks like, Chucks? And how does Fox know this information?
Probably something with a lot of hearty grains and nuts.
Okay, yeah. Walnuts, pecans. Those are things that go in waffles, right?
Fox dashing through the rock.
Yeah, unscathed though, for what it's worth. Yeah, we actually see that, because probably Gem took too much health or too much damage to his liking. Well, also the fact that he was kind of blocked and had nothing better to do, he actually bonked open the rocks in order to get a fairy. So he is also actually now in Turtle Rock with full health.
And there you have it. We have the blue mail pickup for Mike, and Mike is now the, I don't know what you call this version of Mario. It's the sort of inverse.
I guess it's blue, yeah. What does he have? Maybe it's like the fire flower. Maybe some version. Maybe it's like the ice flower.
Maybe it's the Super Mario clay model on the first issue of Nintendo Power Mario.
Ice flower. That's right. Yeah. Canada flower. Oh man. Yeah, well, Mike is also kind of demonstrating. By the way, then this is a very, very viable and reasonable path to go, especially if you don't always have to make it through the entirety thing of only on green mail, because in this case Icebreaker is allowed. We actually saw that all 4 runners ice broke into the big key chest room, right? Got the big key. Is still able to use it to go downstairs, but we also saw in this case after Freezor, where we basically clipped down the stairs, we are like so close, right? Literally in the same room as the big chest. So you already have the big key. You may as well just drop down basically, slightly to the left of the room and go pick up the blue mail if you are, if you would just basically like that extra set of safety. Completely viable in the randomizer, just not so much in the vanilla game.
Alright, so we have Gem and Fox both in Turtle Rock, a very difficult segment. Gem still at full hearts, which is great to see. Fox coming in to chain chomps. And we have different strats used with quick swap versus menuing. Spleebie going for the quick swap. Nice chomps for Fox. And Mike not too far behind going into TR. That Moth Death set him back, but still really sticking it through the rest of this race.
Yeah. The fact that he actually did take a death on Moth, he's actually been playing quite well otherwise. Yeah. I mean, it's just basically that one incident that is kind of basically causing the time gap, but otherwise his performance has been really good.
Maintaining beams is so nice, so making Crystal Roller room easy for Gem.
Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Gem. Another random specific strat is that with the hook shot, you can actually hook over to the pot before getting off the platform, just using the same within the same spirit basically as the torches room, right? So hook over to the pot, hit the switch, and then make your new conveyor belt, and it's actually faster. Really, really cool to see. All right, and I do think that everybody has basically kept their due diligence within Castle Towers. So you actually do see basically everybody actually kind of cool to see everyone at full health here.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get that fairy to spawn too.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Fox also was able to do Crystal Roller with sword beams. Yeah, I mean, while it's and maybe not as big of a time loss with quick swap if you don't have beams, because you can always quick swap over to something, right? Kana Samaria, Boomerang, whatever you want to use, but still it's always just going to be super nice to just have your projectiles ready to go.
Another solid chomps on Mike's screen.
Yeah, really nice fight there on jump side for Trinex. Gem has certainly been playing quite well. I mean, you actually just look at his personal split. He is on quite good pace, basically. And so he's also not giving Fox like an inch, basically, in order to try and come back from.
That's right. And Fox just now going into the peg maze. We'll be approaching Trinex shortly.
Yeah, this is still this also just looks very, very great for Fox as well. Again, everyone I think has just been playing, especially compared to their individual abilities, which is just really, really solid.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of falls here and there in this dungeon, but nothing too disastrous.
Yeah. I think, yeah, at least for, I mean, probably the biggest differences between Fox and Gem right now is, so I think Fox failed Hammer Yump once, and then decided to, make an extra wish, on, before going into desert. Honestly, like, and again, like, if those are going to be, like, your big mistakes, I think that you've had a pretty good run.
I think he also made an extra wish by throwing a rock outside of the ring at
you're right. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, nobody likes catfish, so sometimes you gotta make an extra one just to make sure that it actually goes through, because sometimes he doesn't listen to you the first time around.
Right. All right, Ganon's Tower, known for its very fun set of rooms, difficult movement rooms in the basement, and challenging combat up the tower. Gem making his way through. Fox opening the tower.
Yeah.
Spleebie takes down Trinex.
Yeah, as Mike is basically on Laser Bridge, I mean, so they're actually, again, I think Mike's actually probably made up quite a bit of time. Like the Moth Death is, I mean, it's certainly non-trivial, and the fact that Mike is basically here, on a, basically like end game's worth of Turtle Rock is quite good. Alternate route through Pegmates. Alright, yeah, so in this case, between Spleebie and Mike, though, Spleebie's gonna enter Ganon's Tower first. Fox is well on his way, basically, to Ice Armos. Gem has just enough arrows to take down the boss. We are going to be climbing at this point.
Alright, Gem is now scaling the tower. And a nice Trinex fight for Mike. Oh, Gem moves a little too quickly, and the Mimic dodges.
Yeah. I was even thinking though. Oh no!
A missed menu.
Okay, I will say, for what it's worth, I don't know if I've seen people accidentally mirror in Vanilla Preset League so far. That might be, one of the first. However, in this case, it looks, at least for the raise itself, Gem has more than enough buffer. He obviously may not be, as happy, but oh my gosh, though. Yeah, we're all gonna actually, and we're kind of demonstrating here. We actually are short on arrows. Oh no. This is amazing, actually.
Yeah. I think he's got this, but it's not.
I don't remember the last time that he has done mimic clipping, but this is actually I think Fox is watching. This is an opportunity for him to come back.
Yeah, that's true. So
there's one. Holy frick! There's one.
And they're in the same room.
Oh my gosh! So Fox is not gonna have. So Fox, I think, is gonna be slightly ahead going, because Gem has to pick up these arrows from mimics. Oh my gosh!
Very close race still.
Amazing. Gem is I don't know if Gem is actually watching at this point, but holy frick! Suddenly, Fox is basically one room ahead. Gem has just enough arrows basically to steal the switch. He is going to be down, looks like 1, maybe 2 arrows, compared to Fox going into the gauntlet. And the projectiles actually do help you, a lot, right? Fox is kind of already using 1, but this is, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a close battle of execution between Fox and Gem. Spleebie, actually very, very close behind. Certainly not within the confines of, Gem versus Fox race, but I mean, very close in terms of upper GT.
I'm surprised Fox's arrow missed in G3 or 4, that is.
We just We just got to resync, at least on the commentary page. I can't tell how close Fox and Gem are right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but hey, I'm gonna say Gem's ahead.
Yeah, at least that's what it seems like on after everything is synced up again.
Oh, it may have been different patterns, but Gem was able to one cycle land mow too. Fox was not. This is quite a roller
This
coaster.
is ridiculous.
So far.
This is ridiculously close. Holy frick.
Oh, Spleebie kind of stuck in G3.
Oh, that arrow was quite clutch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is when race nerves kind of hopefully are not kicking in for either Fox or Gem. But oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, Fox is just finishing up Torches 1, Gem on his way to Torches 2. We still do have a whole, I mean, end of GT and Ganon all ahead of us. I mean, but the fact that they are basically within one room apart is right now just either Gem. It's either of these guys' game.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot lay up basically. The health situation is probably not the most ideal. Ideally, for both Gem and Fox, you go into basically the fight with 5 hearts, which it looks like Gem is actually going to be able to do. That 6th heart may or may not matter, honestly, on Fox's side. You know, just because the Fire Bats do 2 heights of damage, and you know that's kind of like all you need. Right?
Fox did something that looked like a quadrant glitch. Let's hope it's not.
Oh, your eyes are much better at this than I am. Than mine are.
It's pretty hard to make it happen.
Well, so actually, okay, so this is okay. I was gonna say that this is the randomizer. Like, I know that there was some back and forth between whether or not the quadrant glitch was fixed versus not versus. I don't know. I mean, okay, like, but you're right. It didn't happen.
But also, this is the no logic fixes, which maintains the vanilla game's effect.
I see. Okay. Oh wow, Gem.
In that regard.
Yeah, Gem has really put on turbo mode here. One cycling land modes 2 looks. If this was a double cycle, yeah, sorry, 2 cycle for Aga 2. Like,
wow.
Like he is gaming. Like he is like really. You know, this is lights out. Seems like.
Yeah, so Gem is falling into the Ganon fight first. Fox close behind.
Mm-hmm. One basically bat animation difference between between Fox and Gem here. Meanwhile, though, Spleebie. Oh no! What happened? What happened to Torches? Oh no! Oh, poor Mike. Okay, yeah. It's okay. It's recoverable.
Took a fall and is just gonna recover.
I gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess for what it's worth, right? Aga is seated, so Spleebie. This is exactly why you come in with 5 hearts, not 4.
Oh wow! So we had Fox miss the 1 cycle of phase 1, and or phase 2. It really phase 2 as well.
Okay, Gem.
Yeah. So it's the 2 and 2.
Oh,
and meanwhile, Gem has to be very careful. Does to get Torch Glitch, which is really good.
Yeah, he got Torch Glitch with Fire Rod. I really half expected him to, basically pause or switch to the lamp or something to guarantee it, because I think if this one he doesn't, he is in quite the conundrum basically against Fox. But he pulls it out. Fox is now on. It's just starting phase 4. But Fox has some health buffer. Gem cannot get hit, like with Gamut phase 4. I think that might have been a miss on Gem's side.
And Ganon is down.
What a roller coaster at the end, dude! All right, big GGs in chat for Gem finishing first place in this 4-way race. First place against Fox, 2-0 in the Dark Air division on a freaking. Oh my gosh, dude! Oh, what is his official time? What is 1:15:38? What a roller coaster!
A nice time.
Spleebie. Alright, Fox is finishing up. Super close race. Holy frig. Big GG's to Fox for finishing 2nd place for the entire Para division for round 2. We'll get his official time real quick as soon as the bot says something. Oh, my god, what a race. 1:16:05, yeah. Under a 30-second difference. And Spleebie's finishing up. Yo, Jam, how's it going? GG's.
I am
Congrats,
shaking.
Jam.
Were you watching at all?
I was looking during the Aga cutscene just to see if I saw the chance, and oh my god.
Dude, you play lights out. I cannot believe like how amazing. Yeah, because when you mirrored, and then I don't know how you got just like, well, I guess you clutch mimic clips like the first room, and then Fox actually overtook you by the time you got out of Mimics 2. But then you one-cycled Lamos 2, you two-cycled Aga, and I think that helped you also, basically, secure your lead.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Like once I mirrored there by accident, and got past Mimic Club, I just kind of played out of my mind.
Yeah,
I was just like, okay, I gotta go. If I still want to win, yeah. Oh man.
Oh, you sure did.
So
All right.
it's tough to come up with a backup on the spot because you don't expect to accidentally mirror. But did you remember that you could have got the arrows at Hope Room?
Oh, are there arrows in vanilla?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's the right chest.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that is such good knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know where anything is in GT and vanilla except for map and compass.
Yeah. Kind of a last resort in a race.
Yeah, that definitely would have saved time over doing a mix-up, but oh.
So it's just more erratic this way around. By the way, so Spleebie also did finish. He won the Palace division between himself and Mike. So big GG's on to Spleebie. What was the official time? 1:16:41. Yeah. So I mean, this is actually I'm not sure. Even looking at your split, Spleebie, like really solid performance. GG's, by the way. Welcome.
GG's.
GG's, Spleebie.
And big, of course, finishing up the four-way race is Mike. Finishing up, let's see if we can get official time. Looks like 1:18:22. Really great runs, actually, from everybody. Probably the biggest time difference. I don't know if you were watching. Oh yeah, I think you were probably watching Spleebie, but yeah, I think the biggest probably difference was Mike took an unfortunate death to Mothula. But really solid, and we are actually joined by both Fox and Mike, so we have everybody here. GG's, guys.
GG's.
GG's.
GG, Mike.
How's it going, Fox? How
That's
are you
okay.
feeling? How are you feeling on the climb?
I played really bad basically the whole time, and then Jem tried really hard to give it back, but then I kept playing really bad, so he couldn't figure it out. Next time you'll have to throw harder if you want to lose that one.
Okay. I don't think I want to try.
Yeah, good games to all. Jem was definitely gaming after this mirror that occurred by accident. So very
yeah, it looked
well
like
done.
you had a pretty solid run until I guess you mirrored out of Gauntlet or something.
Yeah, I was +1 after TR.
Yeah, that's pretty
Definitely
solid.
was PBable. Yeah, I tried to be cute and boom the arrows that the last Mimic dropped in Mimics 2.
Oh,
But then I
and
had
you
L
pressed
instead of R.
bounce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Happens.
Yeah, it's okay. You still won the race. That's the most important part. Oh my gosh, no. But yeah. So Spleebie, I think you won the best in show. Because you had the most boomerangs out. You also had the most chest turns. So including the most important one in Castle Tower.
Yeah, GG on best in show, Spleebie.
Thanks.
Good work.
Mike, I also appreciated your right side Hyrule Castle exit.
Yes, it saves no time. I want to be special, so
You are special.
I would have PB'd if I hadn't died and lost 80 seconds. I think.
Is it really only 80 seconds to go back to Mothula? Maybe it just
Well,
feels longer.
my
Yeah,
splits
it's not
between
too
Thieves
bad.
and Skull is from -6 to +114.
Okay. I mean, you had a very good cleanup, the second moth fight around. I mean, but like, I think, yeah, outside of the moth death, like, it looked like actually you were on really, really good pace. Like, you played very well.
Yeah, I was looking over early on, like, how am I slightly ahead of Spleebie? Like, this isn't right. And the universe heard me and rectified.
It was my extra cycle in Aga.
You had an
I
extra
hit
ag.
him.
Oh yeah.
I hit
It was
him.
still 0 blue balls though, Spleebie. So I mean, you know.
Right, but it's the same
Yeah,
time.
that sounds
loss
like
as
one
blue
blue
ball.
Yeah.
See,
such a
I've had this
close
bug
race.
before where it has a blue ball, so don't do that. It's the game being bad.
That was a tough land mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That was like super awkward. Did anyone get 2 cycle? Is it possible?
It's definitely
I'm sure
possible.
Ari
I
was
got
still
a
see the
3.
seed.
Yeah, Ari would be like, hey, this pattern was free. I don't know what's your problem.
Aries said we could trash this seed. It's fine.
Did you guys save the 3 cycle? at
I
least?
saved the 3.
I think I think Fox did. I think
I
Jem
think I
was
did
4.
cycle.
Yeah.
I think I only get like 1 arrow during the first cycle.
So, any other highlights from you, Fox, about this run? You said it was, you were not gaming, but where?
No,
where
I
are
had
you
like
gaming?
a major problem in every split, I think.
Mhm.
Maybe Skullwoods was okay, I think. Meyer was pretty good until the basement problem.
Yeah, your moth was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
the
Moth went
was
really
quite
well.
good. Mhm. I think. Your Cold Storm was also very good too. I mean, I thought the rest of Ice Palace was also fine outside of. I mean, you ended up getting. I don't know what happened with you with the crab right before.
Yeah, I walked into a crab, and so that lost a lot of time in Ice 2. It's nice in this mode you don't also lose 10 seconds in the conveyor room, but it's still pretty bad.
Oh, yeah, right.
You can kind of back it up with a bow, but it's also really hard to actually hit the Bari with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would never trust an arrow to hit a berry, though.
It probably was not. It was probably moot point for this particular run, but I think you were kind of lacking arrows after Vitreous. So
I was, I was out of
also
arrows.
maybe
I did
during
not
Vitreous,
realize
but
that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until the animation in the item box changed. And then I had to panic and figure out how to not die.
The
Jem, I
important
missed
thing is
your
looking
menu
cute.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, so did I.
That's okay. Yeah. It was a mimic clip that slowed you down there, of course.
Yeah.
So I guess just in terms of like route difference. So it looks like actually so Jem and Fox, you guys did the mire into ice into swamp. Actually kind of in contrast, Spleebie and Mike, they did swamp into mire into ice. I guess any particular reason why you guys like doing like swamp first into mire? Is it just
Mire
because of,
scares
like,
me.
protection? Okay, that's also very fair.
I don't know. I'd just do the Tam route because it seems cool. More glitching.
Yeah, you get to do a water walk, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's also true. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it loses time overall though. So
From Ice K to Ice, yeah.
yeah, because
It's about half a
you're water
second
walking
slower.
out to Zora, and then you're also walking to Catfish instead of combining those. So it's just bad. But
Are you water walking to Sora?
yeah,
Wait, I don't know this route then. I need to study.
you get Ice Rod and arm the water walk, and then water walk all the way to Zora, and then flute to Swamp, and then go get Quake later.
Ah, what the hell is this route?
Yeah,
It's the Tam route.
yeah, it's the Tam water walk route, and I think it loses 2 seconds. Does anyone know if it's more or less?
I've
It's
heard that, but
surprising.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, it's surprising if it is that little because it's such a different route. You also have to get Quake later and go to Ice directly after, mirroring after Quake.
You've also run that route, Chex, although I don't know if you're still on that route.
Yeah, for one more week.
Okay, so you are sticking with it. All right.
Yep. It's just easier, because because Zora's domain is such a hard screen, and it just simplifies things when there's lots of other things to think about in this run. And like
sure,
Speedrun
it's a good
says,
excuse to do swamp first.
yeah, get a hook shot out of it.
But then you have to do bomb diver down, so don't lose all your bombs trying to swap to hook shot.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll see the mythical pyramid fairy route, Fox, from you in week 3?
Oh, it depends on who I'm facing. If I feel like I can beat them with it.
Okay, well, I guess I don't know. We actually looked at the at who's facing off who. Oh yeah, actually, Chex is a potential contender, right? Or is it sad?
Oh yeah. Chex and I will both do Master Sword route if we get paired.
Perfect.
No, didn't we already race once? I don't think we can race.
Oh yeah,
again.
you did. You raced week 1. That's right. Yes, you raced week 1. Dang. Who else is there in Town of Rivera? I'm just trying to think. Aries.
What about Airy?
Yeah,
You think
it
you can
might
beat
be
Airy with
Airy.
Pyramid Fairy route?
I think it could be Spleebie, it could be Airy, it could be someone else who I'm forgetting.
I'm in a
Well,
different
Spleebie, yeah,
division.
That's
Spleebie's in
right.
a different division, so it's probably not Spleebie. That's a good point.
Doomtap maybe?
I think he's
1-1, right? Because he lost to Airy week
Oh,
1.
he lost
There was a
Airy
One.
website where we could look at the
Oh yeah,
standings.
imagine! I bet it's like NMG.FoxLisk.something. I bet you can also
Yeah.
find this out. It's easier to speculate.
yeah, me,
Well,
Airy. Oh, Bitey and Doomtap. Yeah.
Fighting, yeah. Yeah, okay, so Flippy will actually, yes, mentioning this in chat, so at least for the Desert Palace division, at least, Spleebie, you are 2-0. The winner gets to face off versus Flipkeel. That'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think I raced Flip last season.
Flip also thinks that based on what he just said in chat.
Yeah, at least it's
I'm looking at the
rematch
website. I
something.
don't have the chat out. I don't remember. He probably won.
Spleebie, I've seen pictures of your desk. You have like 10 monitors. You have
Well,
room to put the
one
chat
of them is the
somewhere.
game, and one. Oh, I only have one right now.
10 is just a 1 with an extra 0.
So any other comments on League before we wrap things up?
No, thanks, Chex and Clearmouse and CSR and Psychonaut and everyone for playing and watching and hanging out. And, you know, the real admin team for doing most of the work this season. Relkin and PH and Corey.
Thanks, guys, for racing. It was a very, very exciting 4-way. Everyone's actually really close. So again, made for a very, very exciting race. And yeah, I mean, like I think everyone did quite well.
Yeah, thanks for the restream. It was fun to watch along.
Yeah, that was really fun to watch. So thanks to 4E for putting that restream on. Or the restream put the race on, I beg your pardon. Anyway, we're going to use that as an opportunity to get out of here. GG's once again to Fox, to Spleebie, to Mike, and to Jem for the excellent race there. Be sure to give them all a follow. All the links are in the chat room there. Thank you to Clearmouse and to Chex Human for the excellent commentary as well. Be sure to give them a follow as well. As soon as the matches are up and things are scheduled, we'll have that up on our schedule as well for what we'll be covering. So be sure to keep an eye out for all of that. In the meantime, though, we are going to send you over to CSR1 for the Skyward Sword HD 90% anniversary race that's happening. So be sure to get over there. Be sure to show them some love. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Psychonaut, and have a fantastic rest of your time zone. Bye bye now.